Akame got killed. Series premiere, Kill the Darkness. Now, the reason I'm like a week and a half late doing this review is because I was kind of debating whether or not I even wanted to review this show because, I mean, pretty much anything on Toonami is obviously super old at this point, but really it was just like I wasn't sure if I wanted to review it or not, despite it being popular when it first came out. And that's, like I said, that's why I'm like a week and a half late. I was like, I kind of do, I kind of don't. And ultimately, I just was like, I should because I don't review nearly enough anime despite how much anime I love. Like, I have all these DVDs of anime and stuff, and like, I never review an anime series. Like, the only one I'm doing right now is Michiko and Hachin. So I figured I'd get another anime to actually review since I don't. And this was a great first episode. I know why it was popular. I'd read the manga before the series actually came out, and I really enjoyed that. I haven't finished the manga. I've honestly only read like the first volume of the manga, but I loved it when I first seen it, and I didn't know for maybe almost like a month and a half or something that it was the manga that I'd read before until I finally saw a picture. Like, I kept hearing the name, and I'm like, that sounds so incredibly familiar. And I'd read it because of like my nerdy group in school is what we do, and we read the like way before the anime came out, like 4 or 5 months before it came out. And I was like, what the heck is this? Like, it sounds so familiar. Then I finally saw a comment, and I was like, oh, it's that manga I read that I really enjoyed. And this first episode was just like the first chapter. It was basically shot for shot the first chapter. Like, I don't know what they padded out. Like, I feel like all that stuff happened in the very first chapter. Like, him even finding his friends dead at the end. I kind of remember that all happening in the very first chapter. It wasn't even like chapter 1 and 2 put together. I'm pretty sure that was just the first chapter, but I don't remember anything being put in this episode that was like padding or anything to make it take up the space of that entire first chapter. So I guess it was just like the typical anime shots where they pan here, or just the city shots and stuff like that, and that's really about it. Otherwise, it was kind of like a shot for shot remake of that first chapter, and it was great. It was very well done, and like I said, going into it having known what it was, I can still go back to the first time I read it, and it blew my mind when I got to the ending. And his friends were already dead, because it did seem like, okay, it's obviously, based on the synopsis, it's going to be like a crazy assassin thing going on. And it was weird, it's called Akame Got Killed, and Akame's like the title character, but she's not the main character, except for the fact that she kind of becomes super epic, and then she kind of is the main character. It starts off and it's like, okay, you got your manga style character. He's going to the big city. He lost his friends and stuff. He meets this woman and it's like, oh crap, they're getting attacked. He has to defend himself. And then it's like, nope, this woman, this little girl and her family are like totally freaking insane. We got like the little glimpse of how the king ruling the city is actually really evil and stuff like that, which I thought was a pretty cool nod to what's going to happen throughout the rest of the series. And it even fit in the first episode with the team going in and killing, like, basically it's rich people that exploit or flat out torture and kill lower lower class citizens. And it was just great. It was a great bloody series. I love the gore in it for sure, because you don't get to see that too often. And I'm glad that they put that on Toonami, because it is one of the goriest ones they've ever had on there. They've had Hellsing, of course, but I feel like they don't do nearly enough gore, and so this is a nice, good, gory anime. People just, the first kill, just a woman getting sliced in half by giant scissors, and it's just like, oh, chopped with her, one hand I think was down, so one of her arms is chopped off. She's completely chopped in half, so it doesn't matter what else gets chopped off once that happens to you. But it was cool seeing all the characters and stuff. Like I said, the ending I love, both from the manga and the anime. It was very well done. I think it's probably one of the greatest first twists in a manga I've ever experienced, and it's not even through the entire first volume. I think it is the first chapter. Maybe possibly it is the end of the second chapter, but I think I can't really remember how big the chapters were and stuff like that. So it could have been the first episode. Literally was just the first chapter, but I think it was one of the greatest first twists I've seen in an anime or manga that I've ever seen or read before, and it translates perfectly in the anime for anyone who didn't already know what was happening. And that, I'm sure that's exactly why it got so popular when it first came out. It was like, just like my experience from reading the manga for the first time, it's like, holy crap, you have this whole thing like, oh, his friends are lost, he's gonna run into his buddies, he got tricked by this girl who he's obviously gonna end up teaming up with, and then it's like, no, his friends are dead. It's super gory and bloody. It's not just like, oh, I cut up monsters and stuff. People get killed. The crazy government stuff is kind of hinted at in just the first episode alone. You meet this insane family who gets taken down by Night Raid, which it was just like really really awesome. And we see all the different characters and their insane powers, and the guy with like the spear, of course, Akame was super awesome with her katana, and that's honestly why I wanted to read the manga to begin with, because I was like, she looks cool, she has a katana, I want to read this. So she is super cool. The sort of cat woman, I don't remember like anyone's name except for Akame, like even the main character I don't remember right now, but everyone's really cool. I love all their powers. We didn't get to see um, everyone 100%. Like we saw the girl shoot her gun off, but they haven't really gotten into some of the other stuff that I've seen her do. And we barely got to see like the guy with the yo-yo. Like in the opening, I think we saw him have more action than in the actual scene where he was like had the yo-yo like really stretched out with the wire and stuff. But it was definitely cool. It was a great first episode. I'm excited to get into episode 2, and I'm actually really excited to see the rest of the series. And I might get back into reading it once I do finish the actual anime, because I know this anime has ended for now. I don't know if it's getting a season 2 or whatever, but I know it's ended wherever it is, and the manga is still ongoing. And I believe there's a prequel that's been out for almost a year now as well, and that was long before I even picked up the initial series. And it's like, I think the prequel is how Akame got into Night Raid, and it's like her backstory and stuff like that. So definitely check that out if you have already seen the series. Odds are if you have, you aren't watching this, that wouldn't make much sense. But either way, thanks for watching. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this first episode, whether you've read the manga or not. I want to know what you guys thought about this one. So your favorite parts, least favorite parts. And, if this is your first experience with it, through Toonami, I would have to assume. I definitely want to know what your thoughts were on the ending and how it was a big twist where it's like, oh, we know the main character is going to find his friends or whatever, and then they're going to be the main characters. He's the main character, then you have his friends, and then Night Raid and stuff, and then it's like, nope, he's the main character, and his friends are totally dead and gone, and the family he's with was like the insane psycho people that tortured poor people and kept them in cages, chopped limbs off, gave them I think his friend had like leprosy or something insane, like give him diseases and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I definitely want to know how that affected you guys when you first experienced it. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.